I did it again, guys. I totally did not have my mic volume on the whole time. So, I'll go back a little bit to what I was saying. So, I said, hello, everybody, I'm Ray McCobb. I'm back at the streaming. So again, we're going to be trying a little bit of a different format. When I first started off with streaming, I was just doing, what was it? Oh my god, I'm having the biggest brain fart. I can't believe that I did it again, man. I left the frickin' mic off. Yeah, I started off with doing just exclusively tarot readings here on Twitch. That was interesting. I did enjoy it, but I kind of burnt myself out on that. And then I moved into just doing like a whole bunch of digital art. I mean, a lot of streams back to back that were just me working on one piece. And then last time I came on and streamed, I tried a different format where I sat on here and we had just some discussions, general life things, stuff about being human, which turned into as well a little bit of spirituality chats. And yeah, then we pulled a couple cards from some oracle decks, and then we got into a little bit of digital art. So I think we're gonna do something a little bit similar today. Yeah, so we're gonna try that format out. And I was just mentioning, again, I don't think it made it onto the recording because I had my mic thing muted. I saw 1111 on the little live timer. So 1111 is a very popular angel number. It's very indicative of like a big energy portal, new things coming in, old things leaving, which is very interesting. Because as I saw, I was thinking about and wanting to mention the fact that it is the spring equinox today, leading up the past little bit, and is going to be carrying through for a little bit as well. So the spring equinox is very much, the old winter energy leaving and then the new spring energy coming through for us and renewing ourselves, our spirit, our energy, the world around us at large as well. Yeah, so that's interesting, and I'm just trying to remember what I said while my mic was still off. It's too funny. Yeah, I was saying something about how I know that it's definitely a very interesting, kind of difficult time for everybody in the collective right now. There is a lot going on energetically, economically, physically. Yeah, there's a hell of a lot going on, and a lot of that kind of energy does tie into some of the lessons and the teachings of the spring equinox as well. So I've been seeing a little bit of a theme in the collective, people I know, random people, stuff online as well, about a lot of people feeling very stuck, stagnant right now, like kind of waiting for the next thing. Like, okay, so like just kind of being put in a place of like resting and not feeling like you don't have a whole lot to do. So it's like you're trying to make things to do. You're like, okay, where's this stuff coming in that I've been trying to manifest? Okay, are there more things that I need to heal, more lessons that I need to learn? So you're going within and you're trying to figure all these things out. There's been a lot of shadow work going on, which again, very much fits into the whole spring equinox where the darkness is starting to, in the winter months, the darkness really takes over as the days get shorter, the nights get longer. Now it's starting to swing back the other way. Things are starting to balance back out, and the light is coming through a lot more. So on an energetic level, there is more of a balance between light and dark, but also a lot of darkness is being pushed out to the forefront because the light is coming back through and shining on that. So that's why there is a big theme of a lot of shadow work going on, but also a lot of good, positive, bright things, a lot of enlightenment, inspiration, renewed energy, ideas, stuff like that. But it does seem like in this little period leading up to right now in this moment, people have been feeling more of the shadow work aspect, more of the darkness coming through in their lives, and have been feeling the need to address that. And that is something that I very much relate to and have been relating to for, I don't know, a little bit over a week now, maybe 2 weeks or something like that. And that is definitely one of the reasonings for kind of changing up this format and not doing just full-blown tarot readings for people when I come on stream, and even feeling burnt out of the digital art stuff that I moved to when I was burnt out on doing the tarot reading. So it's a very interesting time, and I thought, we could kind of talk about these things as well, balancing out the light and the darkness, learning to embrace your shadows, learning to even just acknowledge that they're there in the first place and accept them and not run away from and not hide them, right? Yeah, there's a lot to talk about that. So we'll definitely go into it, and like I said, we will pull probably some oracle cards, maybe some tarot as well, just for the collective and kind of see what is going on, how the cards can kind of elaborate on the topic that we can be discussing here. Obviously, you're very and more than welcome to put your 2 cents into the chat to add on and elaborate to what it is that I'm saying. Other than that, I'm just going to be riffing and talking about what needs to be talked about, I guess. So yeah, with that being said though, I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're staying safe. I hope you're taking care of yourselves, your body, your mind, your spirit, all that stuff. Definitely be compassionate to yourselves right now. Be forgiving to yourselves with whatever's going on, whatever has gone on in the entirety of your life so far. Forgive yourself for whatever decisions you've made that you regret, any guilt, things like that. Forgive yourself for that. You really do deserve that grace, and in your forgiveness of yourself and whatever you've done that really weighs heavily on your mind and in your heart, that forgiveness does clear a lot of space for new things to come through. And with the springtime energy, especially if you were, I don't know if we're in the southern hemisphere over here. I don't know. I'm in Canada, everybody. So we have our 4 seasons, and right now the springtime is coming around. I know that is not what everybody in the world is experiencing right now. I know some places it's summer, some places I don't even know. I just know that some places it's been summer for a little bit now, and maybe is moving more towards fall. I'm not sure. I'm not great with geography, guys. That's not what I'm here for. But yeah, so we have a lot of that springtime energy coming through, a lot of renewal. I really do think as a collective, so many people are just wanting new things to come through, and not only new things, but really positive shifts coming through. And we do have a lot of things in the world right now that are kind of dampening the mood, I guess we can say, causing a lot of uncertainty, a lot of worry, maybe even a little bit of distress, or quite a bit of distress if we're being honest. So yeah, I really think there is a big want and a need right now in the collective for some new, positive, sunny things to be coming through for us as individuals, and for us, like I said, as a collective. So very interesting, guys. So something that I did want to bring up as well before we kind of continue on our chat here about the spring equinox and balance within the self and outside of you as well, with light and darkness. I guess that could be our main topic for today's little chit chat. But something that I wanted to mention as well is that, so if you don't know, I am a intuitive tarot reader. I also do a whole bunch of other things, but that's kind of my main thing, and the main thing that I'm trying to push, get out there, grow. We'll say grow. It's not that I'm trying to push it on anybody. I'm trying to grow that aspect of my life and turn that into something more than just, it's a gift, and it's something that I do, right? So I'm an intuitive tarot reader, and I do readings on Instagram and YouTube, Patreon. I do them here on Twitch sometimes as well. It's a whole thing. But I do, on Sundays, I do like weekly energy pulls. So I do one card to look into the energy for the upcoming week. And I wanted to discuss that because I had the Seer card out of my one deck. It's technically the High Priestess if you look at it in terms of the traditional Rider-Waite tarot. And so this card came out in reverse. So the interesting message about this card that came out today that I wanted to discuss here is it seems like there's an interesting, weird time approaching us, especially during this week, where spirit and the universe, God, whatever higher power it is that you believe in, we're kind of all having a little bit of a veil, a cloud that's kind of muddying the waters, kind of blocking things out a little bit, shielding us from some things. We're having that kind of put down over our eyes, our intuition, our clairvoyance, clear seeing, our foresight, whatever it is that you would like to think of it as, whatever it is you identify it as, whatever it is that you would like to call it. yeah, it just seems like the energy coming through for us this week as a collective is kind of a dampening, a bit of a shield, and like a distortion almost on our intuition, that clear seeing that we have going on. So it's very interesting that this is coming through, because it's very much a call to go within, but also to take a step back and stop trying to kind of like figure everything out, plan all of your next moves, try to like see through the future basically and all the different possibilities and figure out what is the best thing for you, what is the best way to move forward. All right, hold on. I'm just going to skip this song. It just sounds slightly like my alarm, and it's giving me, I'm like, ugh. So, but yeah, this kind of energy and this calling to step back and relax and stop trying to be so in on top of everything is coming through, and that's very interesting because on top of that calling, the purpose of that, it seems, and what I've been getting is that, that's not what I wanted to do, is that spirit, the universe, the divine, whatever higher power it is that you believe in, they want us to kind of get our hands out of it, get our 2 cents out of the situation so that they can do the work that they need to do behind the scenes and work on what it is that they need to work on so that they can bring forward the blessings, the manifestations, the positive things that we've been waiting for. So they're kind of like, okay, like, go tuck yourself in. I'm gonna pull the sheet over your head for a little bit. You just sit there and you chill. Get out of our way, please, respectfully. Okay, like, we got some things that we gotta do and that we gotta work on for the meantime. So it's very interesting that we are being called to take a step back and stop trying to lead the charge here. And this kind of concept, I've talked about it a few times in some of my readings on YouTube. These messages came through about how, if we think about ourselves and our role in our own lives and the role that the universe plays as well, it's like you can think of it as this analogy I got through of like a stage production of play. So, we're front and center, we're the actor, the audience, the other people in our lives or whatever else watching us, they're seeing us up front on stage in the spotlight, making all the moves, saying all the lines, doing all the things. But really the big important job, the foundation of us being able to do that in the first place is the backstage crew who set the stage. They put the props together. They made sure we were in our wardrobe. They, if we forget a line before we go on, we ask them for a line. There's somebody there to, help us, remind us what the lines are, like all that stuff. I don't know. I know there's a lot more to it than that. I was never a theater drama kid, so I never firsthand got to see what it's like behind the scenes of a stage production, a play, or anything like that. But that's essentially what it's like, at least within my perception and the messages that I've received as a reader and just somebody who I would consider myself fairly tapped in spiritually, psychically, with, the creator, the powers that be, all of that good stuff. So that's kind of how we need to think about it, right? So it's like there's, I don't know, it's like, I want to say our lives are almost like a series of different plays and shows, right? I mean, you can watch a play, for example, and that's not going to be an entire lifetime. So it's like we as humans, we go through these ebbs and flows. We go through these periods of like, everything's happening, all the moves are being made, there's a lot of action happens. So that's like the play that you're seeing, that the audience gets to see when everything is being put together and it's time to just see the show because it's ready. And then we go through these plateaus, I guess we could call them, the lows, where that's the preparation period again, where, okay, so now we gotta think of the new play to do, we gotta figure out the script, we gotta train all the actors, we gotta get our costumes ready, we gotta get the props made, we gotta set everything up, we gotta rehearse, all that good stuff. And so it feels now like a lot of the collective is in that kind of plateau period where we're getting everything ready and we're arranging things so that when we have the next high, the next climax, I guess we could call it, then that's the next play, the next show that we're participating in, I guess. So we're in this period now where, okay, so if we're the actors in this I don't know, this production company, we'll call it, or whatever. We're the actors, so our main role is not necessarily to be behind the scenes figuring everything out and setting the stage, right? We just got to prepare ourselves. We got to sit back, we got to learn our lines, we got to figure our stuff out, we got to get in the right energy and the right headspace to do our role, right? So that's why we're being asked right now by the universe to step back, do what we need to do, that is our part to play in all of this, prepare ourselves in the way that is our role, is our responsibility, so that, and, you know, respect their time and their room that they have to do to set the stage in the first place and get everything ready and put all the little pieces into place. And then when it is time, they'll let us know, like, okay, it's time, you got to get your butt out there and go on stage, right? I hope that makes sense and that I'm explaining that properly, but that's just kind of how I view all of this. So that's why, you know, if you have that understanding of, okay, so our job here as humans is not to figure everything out. You know, we are not the actor and the stagehand and the director and the whatever, you know, we're not making the costumes ourselves and making the props ourselves necessarily. Like, you know, it's not necessarily our job to figure out every single little detail. A lot of that we have to just let spirit and the universe figure that out and trust that they're handling it, and that is something that they're doing and they have covered, right? It's, if, you know, if we as the actor steps into and tries to get too involved in a role that is not ours, well, then we're distracting ourselves and taking ourselves away from the focus that we actually need to have. We're taking energy away from preparing ourselves for our big moment, I guess we can call it. And again, we're just kind of meddling with things that aren't really for us to be involved in, if that makes any sense. So there really is a great deal of trust needed when it comes to being a human, being on this earth, co-creating our reality and our life with the universe, with the whatever higher power it is that you believe in. You know, it's not up to us to pull all the strings. There's many strings backstage that we don't see that are being pulled and, you know, kind of worked as they need to be by the universe, that we have no say in necessarily. I mean, obviously we all have free will, but there's also a lot of things as well. If you believe in soul contracts and things like that, there's a lot of things that are predetermined that we agree to. So that is where that free will comes in as well. We could totally have a whole conversation and a whole discussion about soul contracts, but essentially what I'll say, if you don't know anything about that, is it is in my belief, and many other people as well who are readers, light workers, spiritual people, whatever, it's my belief anyways that I'm presenting to you here in my perspective, that before we're even born as souls, we decide that we're going to come down onto this earth, to the parents that we end up with, the families that we end up with, you know, the time, the place, the setting. You know, we agree to go through certain circumstances and things in life. You know, we agree to just have certain lessons to go through. So, you know, it's very easy we have that veil of forgetfulness once we, you know, cross over from the spirit world into the physical world. And, you know, when we're children, we are still very, very connected into the unseen, right? I mean, there's reasons that lots of people and lots of even cultures throughout history see children as almost like or have seen children as almost a separate, sacred, very spiritual, tapped in entity, because we really are, as children. We're, you know, that veil of forgetfulness hasn't been put down so rigidly, and we haven't had that conditioning put on us entirely, or it's not ingrained as deeply yet, because we're so fresh to this world. Whereas when we're older and we're adults and we've been living in that cultural conditioning, we forget and we put all that stuff behind, because, oh my god, you're not allowed to have imaginary friends. That's just childish. You gotta get over it. You gotta grow up, right? You know, essentially stuff like that. That's not everything to it. So, you know, it's easy to go through things, be hurt, you know, just have general life things as you're going through the motions and you're moving through. And you can kind of develop this idea and this sense of, as I'm totally losing my train of thought here. Hold on, it'll come back. Of like why me? Why did this have to happen? Like, there was something else to it that I was onto earlier, and it totally just left me. Yeah, like, why am I here? Like, if you get really, really deep down in the trenches of cynicism and depression and suicidal ideation and stuff like that, it can be, why was I born? I didn't want to be here. Like, why do I have these struggles in life? Why did I be born to this family and this economic circumstance, or this and that and stuff like that? And it's really easy, again, going back to what I was saying, it's very easy to forget that these are things that we chose and we agreed upon before we even set foot here in the physical reality. And again, this is just my belief, my perception of things that I'm presenting to you. Take it how it resonates. If it doesn't resonate, then don't take it. All I ask is that you have an open mind while you're here, but obviously it's your life. You are allowed and entitled to your own belief system on things, so I'm never ever trying to come on here and push views and ideas and expectations on you. I'm just trying to have a conversation and a discussion and kind of let you know how I see things and where I'm at. And again, you're very welcome in the chat to express to me how you see things, whether that's differently or similar or the same, whatever it may be. Your opinion and your beliefs are valid, and they are welcome here on this platform, within reason, of course. We have some community guidelines here set, so if you want to check out the About section, you can definitely check that out, but I'm sure we'll be good and we'll be okay. So yeah, that's just a very interesting thing that comes into play with all of this, is that veil of forgetfulness and forgetting some of the lessons and the things that we chose to go through, so that it would help our soul grow and evolve over here, because that's the main goal of all of this, is to expand and evolve on a soul level. So that's why we choose to go through very, very, very difficult things in life sometimes, is so that it really pushes us forward into growing and evolving. And I don't know, I mean, there's a reason for tests and challenges and things like that, and it's very hard to see sometimes when you're right in the middle of it and the shit of it. It's just like, oh my god, why is this happening? Why am I going through this? This is like insane. And really the whole purpose for all of that is to, again, grow and evolve and expand on a soul consciousness level. And if I don't know, I don't want to undermine what has been going on in the world for the past couple years. I don't want to, I don't know, make too many speculations or go to one way or the other, if that makes any sense. But I will just say, on a spiritual level, again, this message has been delivered to me time and time again through all of this, with the pandemic and everything like that. And I've also heard many other people getting the same or similar messages as well, people that are in the spiritual community, people that are not as well. It's, if you're in the spiritual community, and or at least consume a lot of people like who make content and things like that online, or who talk about spirituality and these things like that, it seems to me, at least in my perspective, that it's kind of common knowledge that all of these crazy events that are happening right now in our modern history and have been happening for the past couple years are a part of this great awakening that's happening. So a lot of these things, yeah, we as a collective, as humanity, are being pushed to go through very difficult, trying, tumultuous situations for the purpose of having a mass expansion, a mass evolution of consciousness, right? That's why they call it the Great Awakening, is because all of these difficult things are meant to shake us all as a humanity, as a species, awake to realizing the deep truth of things, the real purpose of things in life. I mean, even if you just look at if you kind of look at it more, it's such a vast, broad topic, so please forgive me while I kind of wiggle my way around trying to figure out how to explain this properly and concisely in a way that makes sense for really anybody listening. But it's there's so many ways and angles to look at this situation that's been going on for the past couple years, or many situations. But I can give you a clear example right now, and I guess if we look at it in a more physical perspective rather than just a spiritual perspective, take a look at the lockdowns that happened for many different countries for many months and things like that, or weeks, whatever it may have been for different countries. I don't know. I just know it was like months and months and months here in Canada. But the effects of these lockdowns is people had time to themselves. People started doing hobbies that were better to them. People discovered things about themselves that brought them joy, that they liked. People had time to rest. People had time to reflect. People had time to work on their mental health. Um, some people changed jobs during this time because they realized the job that they've been working in for quite some time no longer fit them, no longer serve them as a human being. People got new animals, made big life decisions. People, again, really addressed shadows, generational traumas and wounds. People were faced, because we had the lockdowns and we weren't allowed to be around anybody else. We were forced to be with ourselves and to deal with ourselves and our shit. So again, that's on a very physical, tangible level. We can see the effects of, it's like what is going on and the measures that had to be taken for that and how that affected us as people on a physical level. But if you take a look at that on a more spiritual level, well, that was all a challenge and a push to get us to really realize and come to terms with what is important. It really was a push to, again, have to face ourselves, face our shadows, heal through things that we didn't even know that we had to heal through, things that we'd been avoiding either intentionally or just by the circumstances of living in this modern society, right? There's, our lives are so busy with work and school and cleaning our houses and taking care of our family and keeping up with friends and keeping up with social media and TV shows and the news and all this modern craziness, right? So there's just been so many distractions in our modern world to take us away from healing and working on ourselves and looking at ourselves. Like there's so many different avenues and ways, like it's endless ways that you can distract yourself and take yourself out of the moment and away from just being with yourself, right? So it's just interesting to see the effects of how some of these measures that were put in place to protect people really just brought a lot to the surface and caused a lot of us to have to work on ourselves, to learn, to grow, to expand, and how that plays out in a very, very physical, material, tangible sense, but also in a very spiritual sense as well. So I don't know, I find all of that very interesting. So that kind of goes into my point and is my explanation on the idea and this concept of this whole mass awakening that we are all a part of right now, and how this is very much in, I don't know, it's like almost this point of, it's like that saying of as within, so without. So it's like what is happening on an individual level where you're here on this planet right now, especially during this time. Your soul chose to be here during this modern time when it knew that all of these things were going to play out and transpire. I said that really weird. It's like your soul chose to be here during this time to experience these difficult, trying situations because it was going to further push you into your soul's growth and evolution. And so all of that stuff on an individual, internal level, you can see mirrored on an external level where, why do we have the highest population that we've ever had in the world during this general time in history? Well, a whole lot of souls wanted to be here for this mass awakening. We all chose to be here during this terrible, harsh time so that we could all grow and learn and evolve as souls, and raise consciousness and raise the frequency of this planet and of the universe in general. So that's a very big topic. There's a lot to go into on that, and there are many people that speak on this. If you go to really any spiritual community, any spiritual guru, teacher, light worker, healer, tarot reader, somebody who gives advice spiritually, things like that, just makes content around stuff like this, you will hear about this if you look for it, right? It's really not hard to find. It's a very widespread concept, and I believe, as far as I know and what I've heard, it has been something that has been talked about for quite a long time. Like even, I believe some ancient civilizations kind of foretold some big things happening around this time, or it's just been like an ongoing thing, like predictions kind of leading up to this time, and then seeing it all happen and seeing it all play out and continue to play out. Yeah, it's very interesting. But I'll take it back down a little couple notches for a second and just say that me saying all this again, I'm not trying to undermine what is going on. I'm not trying to make light of any of these situations. I know how fucking horrible this whole pandemic has been, how these past couple years have been on so many people. So, you know, even though it is at least my truth, and I know many other people's truths, that there's a reason, a higher purpose to this and a reason to this, that obviously does not take away from how difficult, how trying, how horrible this has been on so many people and so many lives. So I'm not trying to, again, dismiss that or make light of that through what I'm saying. It's really a whole thing. It's a very, what's the word? It's a very complex, oh my god, what's the word? It's like a multi-layered topic to talk about. There's really a lot to say about it. This is something that we could talk about all day, really. There's a lot to go into it, but I guess I can kind of segue this little blurb that we're talking about here back into my original point for this discussion today about balancing light and darkness. Is that this time in history, these past couple years, that on a global scale, we've all been going through, it does kind of lead me back into my point of balancing the light and the darkness, because that's the thing, is there has been a lot of darkness that has come out during these past couple years, whatever has been going down on so many different levels. There's been so many things that have come up. I'm sure you have a couple things that come to mind, just, not even just like with the pandemic and the virus. There's been a lot more than that, right? And a lot of these things that have come out have pushed up a lot of darkness. They revealed secrets, ulterior motives, just things that a lot of people didn't even know were there. I mean, some people knew, some people kind of guessed, and then it's like we just saw these things come out, and then it's right in your face, and it's like, okay, yes, this actually exists. So you can see what I'm saying, how, this time did a lot for us, for everybody as a collective, as individuals, and a lot was brought to the surface. But at the same time, not only was a lot of darkness brought to the surface, it is, in my opinion, at least in my experience, my perspective, and from other people that I've heard of, a lot of light has also been brought up and brought to the surface during this time, right? I mean, just think of the thing that I'm getting to the top of my mind is, how many people were exploding using social media and different platforms and having a good time and finding a way to still find humor and light in this all. How many people were able to come together, even just think about on a big scale, the fact that we are all going through this on a global scale, that brings everybody together and on such a vast, expansive level, something that we've never really seen before. It's very easy to be divided in the world by countries and where you're from and all this different stuff, but then it's like, okay, so everybody in the world is going through this on a global scale. Well, now we all have something in common, something really big and really significant that's bringing us all together, and we can all come online and talk about it and relate and feel more of a sense of a community with our brothers, our sisters, our people here on this planet as a whole, and not feel so much separation. So again, you see that balance of light and darkness. It's like, as much as there was separation pushed because we were isolated from people physically in the real world, we also had that community brought back in, because the physical separation caused us to seek company, companionship, and community elsewhere, and that ended up being online a lot of the times. And then that's when you see people coming together again. So you can see, again, there's a lot of examples. I'm sure you have many in your own personal life, many that you think of that come to mind for you, that are examples of a lot of darkness coming up and being brought to the surface, but also a lot of light coming to the surface. I mean, I even think about, there's certain numbers and things like that of, how many people got dogs, during the pandemic and during the lockdowns, right? Because suddenly they had time for that. Like, that's a very wonderful, positive thing that shelters were like almost running out of dogs at that point, which is incredible because, you know, that's a big issue that the world has had for a long time, is shelters being overrun with dogs and cats. And, you know, so the fact that we had the time, a lot of people had the time to go and adopt and stuff like that, is absolutely incredible to me. So yeah, that's, I don't know. That's how I'm gonna segue that into info. I don't know. I'm gonna throw on some more chapstick. Yeah, kind of just been riffing here for 47 minutes now without really pausing. So I don't know. Why don't we get some oracle cards? I definitely want to get some from the Work Your Light deck and just see what needs to come out. So yeah, it's very interesting. But you know what? If you are here right now on this planet, congratulations, because you are a very special, a very important soul. I know it's very easy to get down sometimes, especially if you're like anything like me or many other people on this planet where you struggle with mental health issues, feelings of worthiness, you know, feelings of not being enough, stuff like that. The thing is, though, is if you're here, I mean, if you're just being born in general, you're very special. You are wonderful. You are inherently worthy. I mean, if you know, there's those sayings. Hello, Striker Hero Camo. Hello, welcome back to the stream. We're having an interesting little different stream. I don't know how long you've been sitting in, but we're just having general, broad, wide discussions about life and spirituality kind of mixed together. The topic so far seems to be about the balance of light and darkness. Gonna pull some oracle cards in a second. We're gonna kind of elaborate on this more. Oh, I love those emojis. But yeah, there's that whole saying that you've probably heard a long time. Whenever somebody's trying to make you special, they're like, hey, you were the one sperm and the one egg that made it out of the how many billions. All right, you just got here just chatting. Let's see. Awesome. So yeah, I was just trying yeah, I don't know. I was just uplifting everybody, letting you know that you are all special inherently just by existing and just by being here. Again, the odds of you existing and being born are pretty insane. So the fact that you're here and you're alive is incredible. Again, guys, I'm seeing that 11:11 p.m. On the clock, so that's a very popular angel number, indicative of energy portal, things coming in, things leaving. Very, very positive. So yeah, I don't know. I hope that you guys, if you ever feel down on yourself, you feel like you're not worthy, like you're not doing enough, I don't know, if you just feel like trash about yourself on some days, just know that you just existing and being here, you are inherently worthy, you are wonderful, you're special, and again, like what I was kind of saying earlier, you being here and existing during this crazy time, this time of mass awakening, if we want to call it that, here on this planet during this modern time in our history, that's special and insane all in itself. So yeah, you are inherently worthy. Do not ever doubt your importance and your purpose for being here. Again, life isn't about your achievements and your accomplishments. It's not about your job, what you do for a living, how much money you make, what kind of house and what kind of car you have, all that stuff. It's not about that. It's just about, you know, enjoying the human experience and being here and existing. And there's actually a little quote affirmation I want to read you guys of something that I channeled there a while ago, and I actually have it on my wall. I don't think I'll be able to see it, but it's it says, I am not my appearance, I am not my relationships, I am not my bank account, I am not my experiences, and I am not my achievements. So I don't know, to me, I find that is a very important thing to remember in life, that, you know, on a soul level, you're just magic in itself. You're an amazing, vastly expansive creature, energetic body, having a human experience, yes, in this body. So there are no limits to you and to your being, and you know, you can kind of relax and kind of pull away from that ego thinking of, oh my god, I'm not anything if I don't have this, or I don't do this, or I don't have that. I know it's very hard to get away from that when there is such a heavy push in life and from other people in the external world, to be like, okay, well, your worth is dependent on this, and that in the material, when really it's not. You just existing is, you're inherently worthy. So we have 4 cards coming out from the Work Your Light deck. Very beautiful oracle deck. Absolutely love it. Ooh, as I'm smashing my my drawing tablet with my elbow. So the one I'm going to read first, because I think it's very in line with what I was talking about, is you're already doing it. Stop overthinking. Keep facing your true north. So you're already doing it. You don't have to overthink your existence, what you're doing. You're already doing it. Again, you just being here is enough. Period. No arguments. No if, but, and, whatever. Period. All right. Then we have Lemuria, creating heaven on earth. It's happening. So again, very, very, very aligned with what I was talking about here with this mass awakening. You know, we are all trying to bring a lot more light and positivity down onto the earth right now. Again, we're trying to bring up the darkness, to deal with it, to heal it, and hopefully clear it all out so that we can really make this earth paradise for everybody, every living being to live on. Because you know, I'm sure you know, and I don't need to bring it all up, there's a lot of shit and there's a lot of darkness on the world right now, and I think we all deserve to live without that, be able to heal through that and move through that and solve the big world issues here. And I'm not going to get too into it. I don't want to get too heavy, but yeah, that's where I stand on that. So again, we're all here trying to facilitate heaven on earth. It's happening, and that sounds like a very big, a very overwhelming thing, a very overwhelming task. But the simple truth in that, and the one thing that you can focus on, is just doing what makes you happy. Taking care of yourself, making your own heaven on earth. So again, I know it's such a difficult thing because there are things that we just have to do while we're here. We're in this 3D reality, you know, we're living in capitalism and, you know, having to pay our way, pay for food, pay for housing, all that stuff, right? There's certain things that we just have to do. Hopefully one day we'll be able to live without those things. It's my hope and my wish, at least. But I mean, if you know what I'm saying. I know we're always going to need food and water and shelter, but like just to find a better way that's not so taxing on people and their mental health, right? But you know what you can do is do all you can to make sure that you're serving yourself, you're doing what makes you happy, you're living your life for you, and you're doing it because you genuinely love it and care about it and are passionate about it, and not because you feel pressured by other people, the world, society, this, that, the other thing, to do it and to be a certain way. All right. So then we have Unbound, releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives. So very powerful. Again, very in line with what I was talking about, you know, going through the pandemic and the lockdowns and stuff like that. We all were forced to be in a space where we were, you know, having to look at ourselves and our shadows and work through those things. And that is a big thing that's coming through here in the collective, and something that I've been feeling and getting messages about within myself as well, is, you know, really needing to look at different soul patterns, it's talking here about soul contracts, like I mentioned before earlier, and looking at past life wounds. Something I wanted to mention as well in this stream today is something that I've been getting through, and that I think a lot of people in the collective may have been experiencing, but not really realizing they've been experiencing, is I think we've had a lot of like kind of more so unconscious, like past life remembrance for the purpose of healing it. So I'm getting like random things, like you might have just been like walking around living your life, and random things that just start making you feeling all these weird, almost nostalgic feelings, and you weren't sure where it was coming from and what it was about. And so this could very well be something that had to do with a past life or a parallel life, or something that was in there, maybe even generational trauma that you really need to heal. And that's something that I've been experiencing myself. Like I don't know, there was like one day where I just went out to walk my dog, and I'm like walking around my neighborhood, and all these weird feelings and intuitive hits and messages and flashes and images and things like that were just hitting me. And it's like, what the fuck is this? Like all these emotions that I feel like I've never felt before were just hitting me. And it's like all of these past life memories and things that were coming up to be healed. another message I'm getting is that you may be surprised by people, things, circumstances around you that may just start like opening up like crazy that never would have happened before. So if we're going to use the example of like a family member, for example, maybe you have a family member, kind of speaking from personal experience here, who was like very closed off, super not emotional, would barely talk to you or something. And then all of a sudden they're just like all these emotions and memories and experiences and history are just flowing out of them. I know for me, this was my experience the other night. My grandfather, actually, he's not one to have like big long conversations necessarily. He has some struggles that kind of keep him from being able to connect on a deep level sometimes. It's usually just very surface level. And the other night we were at his house visiting, and just all of a sudden he's telling me all about his father and his mother, his family experiences and traumas and things that they went through. He's like pulling out old newspapers and pictures and stuff like that. So it's just like, I really think that this is going to be a collective experience, as well as just people that you wouldn't expect are just gonna start like dumping all of this stuff out. Like we're all really having, at least in my opinion, my perception, the messages that I've been getting, we're all having a lot of darkness and hidden stuff being kind of dug up and coming out of us right now to be expressed, to be healed through, to be worked through. So I really think we are all in for quite a few surprises from people in life around us. And we can already see that happening with like the news and stuff like that, media and things like that. It's like things that were once hidden and you couldn't talk about, it's coming out and it's coming to light now, and it's quite shocking and surprising, some of the things that have been coming out. So again, I think that this is another thing that is going to be a collective experience. So yeah, so then we have our final oracle card that came out here, which is play. So it's have fun, celebrate, don't be so serious. So again, I think this is really, really important. It's funny that we have Unbound and then play, these two came out together. So this is the light and the dark, right? We have the, okay, like put your foot down, deal with your shit. Sorry, that's shaking, I'm totally bumping shit. It's like, deal with your stuff, you gotta heal those wounds and things like that. And then, at the same time, we have the okay, you gotta get up and you gotta play, you gotta have fun, you gotta celebrate, you gotta just do what life was meant for, which is just being present and enjoying it and being happy and grateful to be alive, right? That's a very important thing. So, allow yourself to celebrate. Again, this comes into what I was saying of with the you're already doing it card, of just do, or the Lemuria card actually, which is just do what makes you happy, do what genuinely brings you joy, right? And without judgment. You don't have to judge yourself, and you don't based on your own judgments and your own perceptions of what is right and wrong, what is good for you, what is enjoyable, what should not be, all that stuff. And you don't have to do it through other people's judgments, right? So, maybe you like to have a glass of wine at the end of the night or something, and, you can very easily be like, oh, well, so-and-so that I look up to thinks that that's wrong, you should never drink, or something like that, right? So it's just like, try not to bring judgment into it. So if you're going to do something to enjoy it, just allow yourself to enjoy it without judgments. Now, obviously, when I'm saying this, there has to be some kind of limitation. There has to be some kind of discipline, we'll say, not limitation, where, you're not going too overboard, right? Like me, I fucking love sweets. Okay, I have the biggest sweet tooth ever. It's a little bit of an issue, but I try to allow myself to enjoy having a sweet every now and then, sometimes more than I know is responsible. But I still try to keep it to a certain level where I'm not going over, right? Like, I can't wake up and eat candy and have that all day, every day for a year. Like, that would just be inherently irresponsible, right? So if you like to have a glass of wine at night, well, you can have a glass of wine. Maybe you don't have 12 every night, Like, there has to be some kind of discipline, some kind of line that you decide for yourself that is your line that you don't cross, right? So, again, everybody's different, everybody's experiences are different, everybody's body and everybody's needs are different, so you can't judge yourself and create your own limitations and boundaries based on what other people think is right? So if we're going back to the example of you like to have a glass of wine at night, but so-and-so that you look up to thinks drinking is bad, well, so-and-so might have been an alcoholic before. They can't drink anymore because if they drink, they touch anything, they're going to go way overboard, right? But that might not be the case for you, so you can't judge yourself based on what's right and what's wrong for them, right? So maybe for you, you can have 3 glasses and feel okay and you're good. Somebody else, 3 glasses might be like way overboard, like that's going to be a head in a toilet, hungover that really, really fucking bad the next day, right? You just, as an example, obviously I'm not saying like, yes, go out and drink it. I'm not condoning drinking one way or the other. Be safe with whatever you're doing. Take care of yourselves. Don't punish yourself or your body, especially just in the mindset of, I'm just trying to enjoy, and then you go too much and you hurt yourself, right? But I'm just saying, whatever it may be that you enjoy, it can literally be anything. It doesn't have to be things that you can consume. It can literally be things that you like to do. Like, I don't know, I'm just getting very randomly, like, maybe you like to color. Maybe you have, I don't even know how to say it. I'm just getting, like, maybe you're, like, somebody who's into, like, again, very random, but I just want to express the wide spectrum of things that you can enjoy. Maybe you're somebody who's, like, a little or, like, an adult baby or something, and you really take pleasure and joy out of just dressing up like a baby, getting in that headspace, and doing those things, and forgetting about adulting and all that stuff. If that's what fucking floats your boat, if that's what makes you happy and brings you joy, do that. Who cares? If you want to dance around naked in your house, do that. Who cares? Just, again, be safe with whatever you're doing. Don't hurt other people. If you're going to do that, maybe close your curtains if you have, like, a big front window, like, just things like that. There has to be some kind of discipline with it, but also don't be judging yourself while you're doing it, right? So if you like to, for example, if you like to dance naked, well, if you know you're going to judge your body, if you see yourself, maybe don't dance in front of a mirror, right? Just things like that. Just gauge what is right for you. Again, I'm not trying to be weird or anything. I'm weird, period, but I'm just trying to show you the broad spectrum of things that you can enjoy. It doesn't just have to be alcohol and smoking a cigarette and smoking some weed or, having sex or anything like it doesn't have to be stuff like that. It can literally just be like the littlest, most minute thing. Like, maybe it's reading books, maybe it's watching cartoons, maybe it's organizing things. I don't know, maybe you want to just put like the same of one little thing, like so strategically in a line. Whatever it is, whatever you find enjoyment out of, do it, and allow yourself to do it without shaming yourself and without allowing other people's perceptions and what is right and what is wrong, what is weird and what's not. Don't allow that shit in to fucking shame you or talk you out of what you enjoy doing. All right, that's my main point in all of this. Okay, I hope you get where I'm coming from and you're not just like, your ears are not just shutting off because you're like, why is she talking about adult babies and like dancing naked or like whatever. Like, it's just what has randomly come to mind. I don't know why, but it just did. So anyways, I will put these oracle cards away, and I want to get one from the Language of Letting Go deck, as again it does seem like there's a fair amount of darkness and just shadow work type things coming through. So when we have heavy things especially coming up that we need to deal with and move through, work through, letting go can be really helpful for that, right? There's a saying, you gotta feel through it to heal through it kind of thing. So again, it's not really helpful, and I'm speaking from personal experience here. It's not helpful if you have an emotion coming up and it's negative. So let's say you have anger coming up, for example. It's not helpful to hold on to that and be like, I'm so angry, I'm going to hold on to that, I'm going to make that, you have to allow it to be and then allow it to leave and let it go in its time. You can't hold on to it, you can't push it away before it's ready, you have to just allow it to flow. So I think this deck, this Language of Letting Go deck, is very in line with that, and kind of has an understanding of that concept, right, of just allowing things to be. And I totally understand how hard it can be to just allow, especially if you're somebody who's very, very active in your life. You're a go-getter. You're like, no, I don't want to, like, fuck that. I don't want to just like sit around and allow things. I want to go out and do things and get things done, right? Well, I get it. I totally get how hard it is to just sit back and allow. So what you can do is you can try different practices like meditating or doing yoga or something like that. But meditation is great because the whole purpose of your meditation practice isn't about having no thoughts or seeing cool things or whatever, you know. I mean, if that's what you want to do, you can do that. But the purpose of meditation really should just be learning to allow your thoughts to just be, right? When you're in meditation, it's just you and your brain and whatever room you're in, right? So learn to just allow your thoughts. I heard this somewhere, I think it was on like a YouTube ad or something like that. It was like, learn to just allow your thoughts to float by you like clouds. So you're not holding on to them, you're not judging them, you're not anything. It's just like, oh, that comes through, okay, goodbye. Oh, that came through, all right, goodbye. And you just allow it to be. So that's a very good practice you can do anytime, anywhere, any day, whenever you want to do it, whenever you feel called to do it, unless you're driving, obviously, or operating heavy machinery. Don't meditate while you're doing that. Yeah. You know, again, limitations, a little bit of discipline needs to be applied to these things, but it's a good practice to get into, to practice allowing it and surrendering and receiving. And again, what I was talking about earlier, with this whole message of, okay, we need to sit back and allow and surrender to the plan of the universe, allow them to do what they need to do and get things ready for behind the scenes. Get things ready behind the scenes while we need to prepare on our own time. Again, that involves a great deal of surrender and trust, which is not easy to do when you're clinging on too tightly to this idea of control, trying to be a part of everything that's ever happening, not being able to let go. You know, it's a lot of resistance and constraint and rigidity that we need to let go of and allow some flow and some ease. So very interestingly, guys, we have the Getting Calm card. So it's hilarious that this came out while I'm talking about meditation and allowing things to flow. Because if you're anxious, obviously things aren't gonna just flow and be easy to let go because you're in a fear state of mind. Anxiety, when you really boil it down, is just fear, and fear is control. Really is a big part of fear, right? So that's, oh my god, I just gotta hold on to this, right? So this card is Getting Calm card. It says, today I will stop searching for happiness outside myself. If I'm in a frenzied state, I'll get calm, get back on track, and remember that the key to happiness is inside me. Often, after I've become peaceful and accepting, what I want comes to me with ease. There it is, folks. It's just confirming so many things I was just talking about. So, a few things I want to talk about here with this card. So yeah, number one, learning to stop searching for happiness outside of yourself. I was kind of mentioning and touching on that a little bit earlier, knowing that, coming into that knowing that everything you already need is already inside of you and you are not the external thing. So like that thing I was reading over there, you are not your appearance, you are not your relationships, you are not your bank account, you are not your achievements, you are not your experiences, you're just you, and again, there can be wide debate on what even is you, because, the ego comes into that, and the ego is what likes to say, no, I am how much money I have, I am my job, I am my experiences, I am all the relationships that I've had, I am what school I went to, and what, sorority I was in, all this different shit, right? That's not who you are, fully. On an ego level, yes, it kind of is, but, if we're looking on a soul level, it's not it, alright? So yeah, here, the next point is, if you're in a frenzied state, I'll get calm, I'll get back on track, and remember that the key to happiness is inside me. So that's a big thing I want to talk about, is that key to happiness being inside of you. And that's what I said with the, what card was it? It was out of the Work Your Light deck. It was the Lemuria card, I believe. I was talking about that, and I was saying, well, everything starts with you, right? So we talked about that a little bit before as well, how as within, so without, right? So everything starts with you, and, the external world, which we often think influences our internal world, the external is actually a reflection of what you have going on internally, right? So again, if you're frantic and really anxious on the internal, the external world is going to reflect that, and then suddenly everything's going to be chaotic and be causing you fear, and it's going to be really anxious, like things are just going to be going crazy. And again, I can tell you all of this from firsthand experience. I remember, I don't know, a couple months ago I was going through a fucking period, a thing where it's just anxiety all the time, like PTSD was flared the fuck up, even though that's not something that I've struggled with for quite a while. It's been pretty tame, pretty mellow, after a lot of healing, and yeah, it was just fucking flared up. I was dysregulated as fuck, so anxious, and it just felt like every fucking corner I turned, it was like, this happened, this person said this person attacked me, blah blah blah, like all this fucking bullshit, right? And then I got calm and all that, it stopped, dead fucking stopped. So it's very fucking real that your internal world is like the external is a reflection of your internal world. So this is saying when you get calm, and it's again reiterating, when you get calm and you find ease, well then the world responds and you see calm and ease all around you. Yeah, often after I've become peaceful and accepting, what I want comes to me with ease. And so again, this card is talking about learning to accept and bring more ease into your life. And that's a lot of the point that I'm saying here as well, is you gotta let go to flow. You gotta find that ease, that peace, that inner comfort, and calming yourself, especially. So yes, the external world is a reflection of your internal world, but obviously there are also external things that just exist that aren't necessarily like a part of you, right? So it's kind of a weird, tricky thing. It's not black or white. That's the thing about life and everything. And it's funny because we're talking about light and darkness, so you can see that if you have a very black and white separate mindset, it's black and white. But that's the thing, is we're finding the balance. So that's the gray scale that we have. So the concepts in general that I'm talking about here, not really black or white, right? It's fucking spectrum. And that's the same thing with the external world. So yes, the external world is a reflection of your internal, but is it also true that there are things out there in the external world that aren't necessarily an extension of you, but are really put there to test you, to try to fuck with you, to try to bring you back into a state of anxiety and things? Absolutely, right? I mean, if you look at news, for example, the news is kind of there and kind of designed to keep you anxious and keep you fearful. That is at least my humble opinion. I know a lot of other people share the same opinion or similar. If you don't, that's totally fine. Again, you are welcome to have your views, but this is my perspective. This is what I'm sharing here. So to me, and a lot of other people that I know of and don't know of as well, the news is very carefully designed and curated to keep you anxious, keep you in a state of fear. Why? Because when you're anxious and you're fearful, you're more likely to be ungrounded. You're going to be running around and you're going to be looking for guidance. So what do you go to? So, okay, I'm anxious, I'm afraid. I want answers. I want guidance. I want clarity and consistency and somebody to lead me through this. Well, then you have the news coming through and being like, we have the answers. We can lead you through this. So then if you're constantly anxious and fearful, you're more likely to look to the news and to keep tuning into the news. And then guess what? They have viewers, and then they have money, and then they can keep running their shit. Right? Again, that's up for debate. That's up, you can apply your own personal opinions to that. You don't have to just blindly follow whatever I'm saying, whatever I'm telling you here. That's my opinion and my experience. So again, like, the point that I'm just trying to illustrate here is that, again, yes, external world, reflection of the internal, but there still do exist things out there that don't necessarily have to do with that, right? So you could be the calmest person ever and have zero anxiety. Well, guess what? The news still exists. Okay, whether, just because you're calm and you're chill doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It just maybe means that you don't watch it, you don't tune into it, and you don't buy into the fear and whatever else that they have going on over there. So, again, very interesting, broad topics here. Nothing is black or white here that we're talking about. It's a very vast spectrum there. And again, I just hope that you know and you understand that there's a lot to be said. A lot that I can't necessarily cover everything. Every little piece, every little nuance. Yes, it's very nuanced. That's the word that was escaping me before. All of this shit, very nuanced. So I hope that is understood and, not assumed. I'm not trying to say, yes, this is it. Yes, this is that. Like, bang, bang, boom, black and white. Like, no other option, no other middle ground. No, I firmly believe there's always a middle ground, a nuance, a spectrum to everything. So, yeah, I don't know. So very, very interesting, guys, though, how all of these messages have just been flowing and kind of commingling together. yeah, kind of aligning and building off of each other. And that's exactly why I wanted to talk about this and have a discussion and pull some cards while we're talking, because I knew that the cards would kind of elaborate on what it is that we're talking about. And even the illustration here I'm just looking at is very indicative of that little mantra. We have the phone, the conversations, we have the clock, we have the hand. I guess you could look at that as identity. We have the little pen and paper, like your school, your education, exercising, food, love, relationships, money. And so very indicative, that little mantra I was talking about earlier of, I am not my appearance, I am not my relationships, I am not my experiences, I am not my bank account, I am not my achievements. There's many other things that you could add to that list that I just didn't quite get to at the time. It's very interesting, but yeah, what you are is you are magic. You are stardust, just having this human experience. So again, you and yourself. So if we're going back to this concept of the internal reflects the external, well, you and yourself, when you're being completely honest with yourself, you know that you are not a black and white being. You are not a black and white existence. You know that you are a spectrum. You're many different shades of all different kinds of colors, not even just gray. So if you're very complex, you're very nuanced, you're very multi-layered. Nobody is just a simple, easy explanation. Well, if you know that about yourself, then the external absolutely does reflect that. And this is something that I would love to, we're cultivating it here, period. Nobody can stop me, but this is something that I would love to continue to cultivate and bring more into further spaces of the external world, is bring, make it okay again. I don't like how that sounds, if you know what I mean. But kind of bring it back in style, let's say, bring it back in fashion, to have, nuance and a spectrum of things, and not just be black and white as far as opinions go, discussions, ideas, all different kinds of things. I don't even know, I know I'm not the only one doing this. I know I'm not the first person to do this shit. I absolutely am aware of that. But I would love to be a part of the people who are trying to kind of wake everybody up again, to allow there to be a middle ground to things and not just completely black and white, because there has been a lot of polarization in our lifetime here. And I think that we gotta be able to come back to a place where we can have calm, open discussions on so many different sides, whether we agree with somebody or not, without immediately damning them and putting them in a very tiny box, when we as humans, we are so much more than these little tiny boxes that we try to fit ourselves in, right? We are all just consciousness in itself, which is so vast, is so uncomprehendable how vast consciousness is. And so it's really not fair to just be like yes or no. Like, we're so much more than that. So I just want to put the emphasis on that, and bring that back around, and create spaces where that is okay, for things to be nuanced, for things to be a spectrum, for things to be not just black and white, because that is reality. If whatever reality is to me, that's it, or one of the components too. Anyways, so we're gonna get some Moonology cards, because I feel like it, and we're gonna see what they have to say. So, alright, we have 3 coming out. So, very interesting. Okay, it's very interesting, guys. Things are very, very aligned here. Okay. Alright, we're gonna do 4 cards. I feel like 4 is a nice stable number for here, for this time. So, the first card I'm going to talk about is the Take Time to Breathe Out Disseminating Moon. So, again, I was kind of talking about earlier, you may have missed it, but I was talking about the energy reading that I did earlier today, that I do on Sundays on my Instagram. I do readings to look into the energy for the upcoming week ahead, and today the card that we got out, and the message that we got out, was about Spirit kind of wanting us to take a backseat from trying to figure out everything, because they have some stuff to work on that we're not supposed to be a part of and we're not supposed to see. They got shit to work on before we start seeing the results in our lives, right? So we gotta take a step back, take a breather, and just focus on ourselves and what it is that is our role to take responsibility for, to control, to dictate, all that stuff. And there's a lot of it that we don't know, that we don't need to know. That's not our responsibility to know. But that message of, okay, you just gotta like step back for a second and like get out of the way here. It's interesting. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little off track, but I was saying we need a 4. A 4 is a very stable number, and it's 11:44 p.m. here, so we got 2 4s. But yeah, that needing to take a step back is very in line with this. Take time to breathe out again. Allow yourself to rest. Allow yourself to just be and just to exist without feeling like you gotta run around and be like, oh my god, I gotta get this done, I gotta get this done, I gotta get this done, or I'm not gonna be complete, or I'm not gonna feel good, I'm not gonna be able to rest or whatever. Like, no, I saw something, I'm not gonna remember the exact wording, but I saw something very wise on Facebook of all places, and it was something about how like rest is not a reward that you give yourself for working. That's something that is just like you're inherently entitled to whenever you need it. You don't have to earn it, is essentially what the message was on that. All right. So then we have a win-win outcome as forecast, full moon in Libra. It's very interesting that we have the scales here in Libra, which is all about balance, which is kind of the topic of the day, is balancing the light and dark. And this win-win outcome as forecast to me is very indicative of the amazing blessings and the miracles, the manifestations that we're waiting for to come through here. Again, I was mentioning more so in the beginning of the stream how it seems like as a collective we are all kind of experiencing a period of stagnancy here, where we're all like, okay, like what's coming next for us? I feel like I'm not going anywhere. Like, where are the blessings coming through? And this is just letting us know that there is a win-win outcome forecast. There's a lot waiting for us behind the scenes to come through and bless us and show us what all the hard work that we've been putting in has all been for, if that makes any sense. So we have your commitment is being tested, first quarter moon. Yeah, so this period of stagnancy, I'm also getting, this is talking about your trust is being tested right now. So again, we're being purposely put in this period of stagnancy and needing to take a step back, which in my opinion is very much divinely orchestrated. So this is testing our trust, testing our ability to surrender, and testing our commitment to what it is that we say that we want to see in our lives, what the blessings are that we want to come through, who it is that we want to be, the work that we've been putting in, your commitment. You know what your commitments are, and you know it's being tested right now. I mean, you period are being tested. We're all being tested right now. But again, it's really for our highest good. I'm just getting through something that I saw a while ago, as well as maybe on Facebook. I don't know, some like quote online or something like that about how life or the universe kind of works a little bit opposite to the way that school works. I don't know, it was something about like, in school, when it comes to tests, it's like you learn all the stuff, you study, and then you take a test to show that you've learned, or you've retained all the information that you studied or whatever. And then life is like, I'm sorry, the wording, I really am having a hard time remembering it. Yeah, life is a little bit different, or the way that the universe works is different. It's like, I don't know, it's like the test comes first almost, and then you gotta like learn through it or something. I don't even know. I'm having a hard time with that, so I'm just gonna let that one go, but maybe you'll be able to figure it out on your own, for your own brain. But yeah, it's interesting how that happens, and I've seen other things as well that do talk about this, about the universal spiritual truth of how when you start feeling tested, or like things are slowing down, you know, that's like the time to like not give up, you know, like when you're being tested, that's almost a sign that things, your manifestations and your blessings are right around the corner, because Spirit is just wanting to throw in like a final test for that blessing or that manifestation, and be like, okay, so you say you want this, but if we test you, are you going to pass this test and kind of prove that you will be able to handle and that this will be helpful to you? So that's what's happening right now. That's the point I was trying to get across, but was struggling to. So yeah. And then the final card we have is Prosperity Lies Ahead. So it's interesting that this is a Taurus card, because to me, the sign Taurus is very much related to the number 4. It's very interesting because Taurus birthdays are usually in, or a lot of them, as far as I know, it's in April, and April's the 4th month. So I find that very interesting, but yeah, no, because Tauruses, to me, they're earth signs, they're very grounded, very stable, and 4 is a number of stability and groundedness and being equal on both sides, again, so very balanced. So again, this is just a reminder that prosperity does lie ahead. So it's like right now, your commitment is being tested, you're being tested, but on the other side of this test, this challenge, this stagnancy, you have the prosperity, you have the blessings, you have the manifestations that you've been waiting for. So yeah, very, very, very incredibly interesting that all of these cards coming out are very in line and in tune with what I have been saying here. Alright, so the final card I'll pull is Full Moon in Virgo, You Are Good Enough. This was just popping off the bottom, and I was really drawn to it, and it just really needed to be pulled. So, you are good enough. Just know that. You are good enough inherently, just by being you, just by existing. And you know what's funny that this card just came out is we actually just had the Full Moon in Virgo on the 18th, so we technically would still be feeling that energy today. So again, like I was saying earlier, if you had any doubts about your worthiness, am I good enough? You are inherently, no matter what you do. And again, remember, you are not your achievements, you are not your bank account, you are not your job, you are not your relationships, you are not your appearance. You are just an amazing, expansive, vast consciousness having a human experience. And you just being here and existing, you are inherently worthy, you are inherently good enough, no matter what you do or don't do. There's very good, so I recently just made a TikTok account. I still have to, I'm sorry, just remembering that I still have to make a little, like, icon thing for that, for my About page here on Twitch. But I just recently made a TikTok, and I found one the other day that was really good that I had to, like, share it to other platforms, of this girl talking about, like, yeah, how you are inherently worthy no matter what, right? Like, whether you did or didn't do something, you're inherently worthy. So just remember that. Whenever you're feeling down, you're feeling like shit on yourself, just remember that this bitch over here, Ray McCobb, said that you were inherently worthy, so you should trust her. I'm just kidding. You should just remember that on your own merit. It has nothing to do with me. Yeah. So, I don't know, guys, but I think I'm gonna leave it there for tonight. I don't think I'm gonna draw on stream. I feel like we have a good energy going here, so I don't want to fuck it up by me going on stream and then feeling shitty, or me drawing on stream and then starting to feel shitty and talking down at myself and being like, this isn't good, well, fuck that shit. So we're not gonna do that. So I'm gonna end it here, leave it here, because I feel like this was very good, very productive. It was a lot of fucking rambling and ranting at you about all random things. I hope that I was cohesive. I hope that I was making sense. I hope that you were able to kind of understand what I was coming from, and that I wasn't, like, leaving weird pieces out that were very important. Yeah, you good, queen? Yes, I am good. Hello, 5 minutes of shame. Welcome to the chat. I see that you're a first-time viewer. Yeah, I'm good. How are you? Are you doing good? Yeah. Yeah, it was a lot of talking and rambling, but you know, I really felt called to today, so I just went for it. You're straight Mawson? What is Mawson? Is this like a Twitch lingo that I'm, Twitch jargon that I'm totally not up on? Yeah. Local vernacular? Okay, interesting. What does that mean? Is there a way to explain it? I know sometimes it's when you have like different slang words and stuff, it's hard to explain. You like Moss chillin'? Nice. Okay, that makes sense. Well, I'm glad to hear that you're straight chillin'. I'm very happy to have you in the chat. Welcome to my stream. Very happy to see a new viewer. That's awesome. Thank you so much for joining in on the chat, having a little bit of a discussion here. Yeah, I hope you're doing well. I don't know how long you've been sitting in chat, sitting in the stream, I should say, how much of the ramble that you've heard, but yeah, we've been going at it for an hour and 31 minutes and over 30 seconds now. Just me going off the cuff, just rambling about life and spirituality and all these different things. So you just tuned in. Oh, no worries at all. Yeah, I was just wrapping up, but I can totally sit for a little bit more. If you're here and you're engaged and you're talking, I'm totally cool with that. I just yeah, the original plan for the stream was I was like, okay, I'll talk and I'll pull some oracle cards that kind of go in with the talk, and then maybe I'll do some digital art. But I don't think I'm gonna try to attempt digital art on stream, because the last couple times I've done it, I just start like shitting on myself, and I'm like, this isn't good, and I stop knowing what to say. So I'm not gonna fuck with the good flow energy that we got going right now. So yeah. But very happy to have you here on stream. Always exciting to see new people. Very happy to have you in chat. Yeah, your username is very interesting too, I will say. I don't know, it's reminding me of like the shame wizards from like Big Mouth and Human Resources. I don't know if you know about those or have seen those, but that's what it's reminding me of. Yeah, I just binge watched like the newer show to the creators of Big Mouth, Human Resources, the other day, and I'm not gonna spoil it, but there's just like a couple episodes that just made me cry, and I was not expected for that show from those creators to make me cry as fucking hard as it did. I was not prepared for that. So yeah, that was interesting. Not a big TV person, but Nick Kroll rocks, right? Yeah, Nick Kroll is great. I'm not a big TV person myself either, honestly. 5 Minutes of Shame. Especially like TV with commercials. Like, I'll watch like Netflix and other shows here and there sometimes, but yeah, I'm not really a big TV show person myself. But yeah, Nick Kroll, I don't know, some people could totally call me out for this and be like, no, that's not right, but like, to me, he's kind of almost like the millennial version of like Mel Blanc, like the guy who did all the original voices in Looney Tune. He just has so many different characters and so many different voices that he does. It's hilarious. So yeah, I don't know. He's got quite an interesting brain. Like him and that whole team that's made those shows. It's very interesting. Yeah, I highly recommend them if you're into just like really fucked up shit, like weird humor, just like shows that are all over the place and you're like, what is even going on? Yeah, mildly uncomfortable humor and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Not super sophisticated humor, I guess I could say. I don't even know how to describe it. If you've never seen them, it's difficult to describe, but like you should be able to kind of know what it's like and if you'll like it, I would say, by the first episode of each show. But it just know that when you watch these shows by these creators, this group of people, it just gets weirder and weirder. So like you could watch the first couple episodes and you're like, okay, weird, but fairly tame, but like very fucking weird, and it goes crazier. So yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. I'm like finally used to the shows, but like my first couple watch throughs, right? Yes. My first couple watch throughs at Big Mouth, like even though I'd seen some of it a couple times at the point, I was still like, what the fuck? I'm so uncomfortable. So they go for it. They really don't hold back. So I don't know. It's interesting. I think you definitely have to like have a specific taste to appreciate it. I know some people are really not about it, and that's totally fine. I totally get it, but for the people that are, I know it really speaks to them. me while I stretch really strangely to put my decks away. What time zone am I in? I believe Eastern Standard Time. I'm in Canada right now. It's almost 12 p.m. here. Where is that? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I really am not great with geography and time zones. If you end up tuning into more streams, you'll definitely find this out. I'm like, I don't geography, time zones, what? I don't know. But all I know is I'm in Canada and it's like 12 o'clock here, p.m. So I'm I'm really the worst at like streaming at like normal human hours, especially for people like that are closer to the area. Like I was good. At first I was like, okay, like 5 p.m. whatever, I'll stream for like a couple hours. And now it's just like, okay, like 10 o'clock, 10:30. It's a great time to start. One night I think it was like 12. And it's like, yeah. So, but I mean, my sleep schedule is insane and just like inhuman as well. So, yeah, there's that. Well, just maybe not inhuman, but just really funky and all over the place. Yeah. What even is, like, what area would Pacific Standard Time be in? Is that in the States? I don't want to obviously pry too much and ask you too much information on where you live, but yeah, I just don't know if it's in the States. Oh, okay, BC. All right. And like that's so interesting and crazy to me that like you can be in the same country but it be in different time zones. Like I remember them saying this in school, but I wasn't paying attention. Like, yeah, again, I said it before on stream, but I'll say it again. Geography, not my strong suit. Grade 9 geography, was not having it, not going through it. I technically failed it, but the teacher was nice and he just gave me like one assignment to do after like the class was technically over and submit it like after the semester was over, I should say. And he passed me, definitely just because he didn't want me in that class again, which I don't blame him, because me in grade 9 was like, hey, you can fuck off. But yeah, geography is not my strong suit, right? So, time zones, I don't freaking know, man. I don't even remember all of the provinces in Canada on the best of days. Like, I don't know how many we have. I don't even know how many the states have. They have like 50 or 51 or something. Oh, no worries, no worries. Yes, you have a wonderful rest of your day, night, whenever you're here. Yeah, and hopefully I'll see you in another stream sometime soon. I'm probably gonna go bounce myself, so you enjoy yourself. Thanks for tuning in. Alright guys, yeah, I think I'm gonna end the stream here. It is midnight. Yeah, I don't know. I was gonna try to do some different things, but like I said, I wasn't trying to, fuck with the good energy and the good flow that we had going, where it's like, oh yeah, like this is cool, and then it's like, okay, now like, yeah, I don't know. I hope you get what I mean, where it's just like, okay, so you're chilling fine, and now you're shitting on yourself? What is that? So we're not gonna do that tonight, because I'm really just not feeling drawn, so we're not gonna do that, but yeah, I don't know. Thank you everybody so much for tuning into the stream today. If you're here with me the whole time listening to me rant, I really appreciate you. Yeah, we'll definitely do more stuff like this in the future. I want to keep some variety going here. Maybe that's not the best approach for this whole Twitch thing. I've definitely heard, like, just pick a format and stick to it for a while, but clearly I'm not good with that. I really thrive on variety more so than just like one thing, same all the fucking time. So yeah, if you're here for a bit of a roller coaster when it comes to what I'm doing and when I'm doing it, by all means, thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting it, for tuning in. I apologize for not being the best with being organized and super, super consistent as far as like content and what I'm doing and scheduling. I'm gonna, make the effort to work on that and improve that and stuff like that. Again, I'm still hoping to get a proper schedule going. But it's just, yeah, for me, the scheduling is dependent on when I'm doing my readings on YouTube, and even that I get fucked up. Like, I'll be like, okay, so Monday, Wednesday, Friday, doing YouTube, Instagram readings, and then I'll be like a day late on that shit, or I'll like wait till like midnight Monday, so then it's technically Tuesday that I'm doing it. Or I'll be like, so I'll do the readings on these days, and then the off days I'll stream, and then I won't do that. I'll be like, no, let's just do it all in one day. So yeah, I just gotta get my fucking shit straight. But hopefully, with some of the stuff that I have going on in my own personal life, soon, it'll force me to not have any other choice but to be more organized and more on top of it with scheduling. So either way, I appreciate your understanding and your patience and just being here for it and tuning in despite my all over the placeness. But yeah, I don't know. Again, thank you so much for tuning in tonight and for listening. I really, really, seriously, deeply appreciate you all being here. It means so much to me. And I do really enjoy doing these streams, so we're gonna continue to try to find fun ways to spice things up and have a cool, chill, fun time, talk about spirituality and life things, and just cultivate a really cool community here. You guys are all awesome, so you definitely make it this whole thing a big part of what it is just by being yourselves and being here. Alright, so I'm gonna leave it there. Have a wonderful rest of your day, night, morning, evening, afternoon, guys, whenever you're getting here. Take care of yourselves. Hopefully we'll see you soon. And yeah, have a great rest of your night. My buddy Oyuk and I will see you all real soon. Alright, goodbye, guys.